travel to England and link up with our friend Segun Jegede. He joins us now on the show. Segun, it's good to have you join us this morning.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, of course, I can hear you.
Can you hear me better? Is it good? Or should I use the earpiece?
Yeah, I think we can actually hear you loud and clear.
We can hear you loud and clear, Segun. It's good to have you join us this morning. Let's just dive straight into it. The UEFA Nations League is what we're going to be talking about. But let's start with what is happening from your end. Let's talk about England, the Harry Maguire situation, the call-ups. Some players, Phil Foden, Mason Greenwood, and then Jack Grealish that was dropped. But your thoughts, don't let me point in any direction. Maybe you start with the Harry Maguire situation. Do you feel Southgate was under pressure because of all the things that were happening to just exclude him? Because at some point he was still in his plans.
First of all, good morning. Thanks for having me on your show this morning. It's been a while. Well, going to the situation of the England call-ups, as you all know, England has a vast array of superstars. At every point in time, these kind of issues will occur. I think it's a good headache for Gareth Southgate. So, with the Maguire situation, he was previously included in the squad before, and when he was found guilty in Spain of, I think, aggravated assault, then it was dropped. I think there's going to be an appeal going, coming in the next couple of days, if that hasn't been done already by his legal team and his club. But I just reckon that the England squad don't want that kind of situation or issues disturbing the preparation. So it's a sensitive thing. The appeal is still going to take place. So we have to wait and see what happens. But on the issue of the squad not being, of certain players not being there, you've mentioned all the names. I feel once again is a very, very good headache for the coach. He has so many players to choose from, and he can only choose an amount of players. So with time, other players will get their call up, provided they keep being consistent. I think Gareth Southgate is a very detailed coach, and all hands on deck. He will keep picking the right players. But going back that, we noticed that he didn't pick players of Nigerian descent, someone like Saka. So perhaps it's a good opportunity for Nigeria to work on what they're doing and give him a call up if he's truly interested in playing for Nigeria.
Okay, that's a good one. Let's stick with the issue of Bukayo Saka, and also the fact that he didn't have the likes of Ben Chilwell, Luke Shaw, because they are injured. And if you check that squad, there's no recognizable left back in it. What's he trying to do? Because it simply means the right backs will need to switch sides. And we know that Bukayo Saka sometimes play left back for Arsenal.
Well, that's a very, very good point. In this day and age, you see players, especially attacking players, playing on the right, switching to the left, the ones on the left playing on the right. So I think there's depth in that squad. The ultimate thing or the obvious thing will have been for the coach to use a left-footed player. But sometimes, there are things that people or fans or football lovers are not aware of other players. Perhaps it's the time for him to showcase someone's talent. And I think with the number of defenders they have, I don't think England should, they should suffer, if I can use that strong word, in that department. But, Bukayo, Saka will have been just a normal replacement of someone to play in that position. But going forward, England is a big team as well. So there are people that are there in the pecking order. You may want to give them the option to show what they're capable of doing. And Bukayo Saka is just 18 years of age. So I don't see any reason why, people should sort of worry for his international commitments. But I think, like I said again, it's a good opportunity for the NFF to start speaking to the representatives of Bukayo Saka so that they can get hold of him while, everything is still going in their favor, if I can use that word. And Bukayo Saka is not the only Nigerian player that can be called upon. There's a whole lot of them. So I will implore the NFF to do their homework and fish out all these players. There's a whole lot of them there. We don't need to wait until they become superstars or the lights are shined upon them before we start calling them. Then, it becomes, a case of cat and mouse.
All right. I know you said we shouldn't dwell on these things. There's a lot of time. Some of these players are still young. Mason Greenwood in, Phil Foden in, the guy from Leeds in, no Jack Grealish. Any reasons? You think there are any reasons for that?
Well, I mean, the man has said, from reports that we've heard and everything, he said it's quite unfortunate for the likes of Grealish that he hasn't been called upon at this time because of the likes of Mason Greenwood. We just have to take his word for it. I'm sure it wasn't an easy decision for him to make because there are even other players that haven't been mentioned. Those of us that watch the EPL and the Championship week in, week out, we know the sort of qualities that these players have, the ones that have been omitted. But like I rightly said from the onset, it's a very, very good headache for the coach. And we just have to take his words for it. He's not going to come out and, be explicit with his words or with his actions and tell everybody, every little detail why he hasn't chosen certain players. What he can just say to us is that, he's chosen people on merit. And unfortunately, he cannot choose everybody at the same time. But he's left out some very, very decent talent over there, And when you look at that, you have to look at the ones that have been part of the squad as well. It's not only about football. It's not about just, going on the pitch of football and playing. You have to look at the aura, the commitment of players. There's certain players that you never know how they are when they're, where they're in a group of people, where they're in the camp. There's a psychological thing that has to do with it. And all these things take time. Some of these players that have been called up, they will have been informed via text message or phone call or through the agents or the coaches. So there's a lot of process that goes into it. And sometimes when injuries happen, or the likes of the case of Maguire happens, the coach has to quickly come in place and make a replacement. So just calling up a player to come and play in the national team is not as easy as people may think it is. People just think, because they're playing well, you just put them on the team. There's so many dynamics to it, There's an atmosphere to the team. There's a way that, the kind of time they sleep, the kind of food they eat. And some players we've heard that usually sometimes they're homesick, when they're not with with their families, whether even when they're not, maybe they're in the country, or not. So there's so many dynamics to it. There's a psychological, thing to it as well. So we just have to see how things pan out. And take it from there in the following months and years that guys will keep calling these players to play for England.
Okay. I mean, hopefully the likes of Calvin Phillips and Phil Foden that will make in their debut, they should be able to, fit into his squad and give a good performance. Now, let's talk about, you mentioned Nigerian players earlier. You said there are some that are not really in the spotlight that NFF can actually, start talking to before they become stars. Who are some of these players that that can actually fit into Nigerian squad presently?
I know in the goalkeeping department, Nigeria, they're still looking for talent. I've been, approached previously by the under-20 coach for a goalkeeper that we manage at Utmostt. His name is Segun Jegede. He's only 17 years old. In the Arsenal squad of the under-18s, I personally know about 6 of them. That's in Arsenal. The other ones in Brighton. We have in Chelsea. In United, I think we have about 2 or so. So there's a list because I go and watch all these games under 18s and under 23s. So I can see where the talent is coming from. And I think a couple of Nigerian, I think media officer for the under 20, I'm struggling to remember his name right now. He saw Saka about 5 years ago. The thing is, you see, all these players they develop from the ages, like the Segun Jegede that I'm mentioning about now, that is 17, the goalkeeper. He's been at Arsenal since the age of 5. Now he's 17. He got his contract, I think, about 7 or 8 years of age. So they start early. So we need to skip early as well and do our research. There's a whole lot of them, West Ham as well. And some of these players that you guys see on TV or on the Premiership as well, their names may not even sound Nigerian, but they, one way or the other, you know, they are Nigerian. You know, there's another boy in West Ham called Jaden Favourite. I think his mom is Nigerian and his dad is his mom is Nigerian and she speaks French, you know. So he's got French background, he's got British background, and he's got Nigerian background. So when these guys are coming of age, when they start becoming prominent, then it becomes a struggle. So what am I trying to say? Even the Oviedo I told you about, he qualifies to play for 3 countries: Nigeria, Uganda, and England. There's another one, by the name of, if I can remember correctly, Adeyinka Giwa. He's got Italian passport, Nigerian heritage, and a British citizen. So there's a whole lot of them that are dual citizens, or some of them with 3 nationalities. So what is the NFF doing? They need to get working. They need to have people on ground that can do all this job for them. We don't need to wait until these kids are now, popular, and then we have the president talking to them, or we now have an official scrambling to talk to them. Let's do their own work right from when they're like 12, 13, 14, 15. By the time they become scholars at the age of 16, when they're 17, they know they're going to be pros. By 18, they're professionals already. So there's a timeline for all these things to happen. I knew about Saka, I think about 3 years ago, because I know of his parents' friend that were, telling me different things about this. But now wondering, who is this boy? Until I started seeing him play. I did my research. So there's a whole lot of them there that, Saka is a very, very good player, very, very scintillating when he plays. But guess Saka is not the best that we have. He's in England right now.
All right, Segun, yeah. Okay, thank you so much for that, trying to throw more light on. But we'll still keep you on hold because talk about Belgium after this time out.
Oh.
Now, Segun, let's get back to you on this one. The Nations League is starting, so Belgium also have their team. Of course, Lukaku is the main man for that team, because of what he did in Italian Serie A. And when he was in England, there was just this criticism about him not having the first touch ball and everything and all that. Now he's back, Italian Serie A, he's doing something good. And of course, when Belgium starts their Nations League campaign against Iceland and Denmark, he's going to be the one leading the team.
Yeah, I mean, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, of course, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, fantastic. Lukaku is a very powerful and strong player. I remember when he first came to England, when he joined Chelsea, we had a lot of things. I mean, I knew a lot of things about him because, there was a certain player in Chelsea at that time called Mikel, and we used to talk about him. So I know he's always been a decent, not even a decent, a very, very strong and powerful player. A lot of people made it seem as if he was above average, but when you have a player of that quality with a strong and powerful left foot, if he turns to the right, it's powerful. If he turns to the left, even extremely more powerful. And his body weight as well, when he leans on defenders, it's a havoc for them. Now he's gone to a league where he's honed his skills, he's learned more tactics, he's now more analytical, he's causing a lot of damage and havoc to defenders, and he's scoring loads and loads of goals in Inter Milan. He always had that quality when he was at Man United as well. It was just that the formation and perhaps how the team was formed around him didn't work quite well for him. But let's not forget the likes of De Bruyne, people that will give him passes in the team. So I think Belgium are looking very, very good. But as we know in football, anything can happen. But I think they have a very, very good chance of achieving very, very well.
Segun, before we let you go, a quick response to this one. The world is watching. Everybody looking at Spain, looking at Barcelona, Lionel Messi handing in a transfer request saying, look, I want to go. The reason I'm asking you this is there any chance, no matter how small it is, that Messi might come to England? Is there any chance at all?
It's not even, I mean, any chance is just an understatement. I'll shed some lights on, some things for you. Messi was supposed to come to Manchester City a while back. but that didn't happen because they didn't want to. Manchester City have more or less like a blank check to get any player in the world they want to get. But now, having just come up from a recent investigation about their finances and how they've spent money, if they're making money or not, is another thing to look at. But with a team like Manchester City, they're very, very shrewd, very, very organized, very, very structured when it comes to planning and implementation. I was opportune to speak to one of the assistant coaches of Manchester City. If you look at that team, they have a lot of Spanish personnel. I think about, if I'm not mistaken, at least 70 to 80% of their staff are Spanish. They have a mandate to get the best of the best players in the world, to put a structure in place. And they're not just spending money, they're making a whole lot of money from the academy players they sell. Look at Jadon Sancho now. His value is rising by the day. Whenever he goes to another club, they add-ons and sell-ons on his clause. And Manchester City will make. They've built a whole lot of academy players, so they have money to spend as well. So it's not about if there's any chances. And I'm sure Manchester City are not the only ones that are going to go for him in England. So Manchester United, they have a war chest as well that people are not aware of. So you're looking about at least 2 teams from England, if not maybe more. You've got the likes of PSG and other, clubs, Juventus might want to go in as well. So there are different ways to make these things happen. And now that we're hearing that Lionel Messi wants to leave Spain, it's broken the internet and everybody's thinking, wow, can we really have him? But I think Manchester City are one of the teams that may just be able to get him to come to the Premier League because it's very, very tactical in those kind of things.
All right. Segun, I want to thank you for your time today. We thoroughly enjoyed having you on the show. Hopefully, we'll do this some other time. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. Have a blessed day. Take care. Bye-bye.